I love Vlogmas. It's Vlogmas, it's Vlogmas, it's Vlogmas. It's a little gingerbread man. Oh, there's a little hot chocolate picture. Happy 1st of December, Phoebe. I'm so excited. It's lipstick. Hello and welcome to day one of Vlogmas 2022 here on This Little Wonderful Life, which is my channel to share daily life adventures from my life here in the UK. I live in Kent in the very southeast of the UK with my husband and our two daughters who are 16 and 12 as of yesterday. My youngest daughter Phoebe turned 12 on St Andrew's Day, which is the 30th of November. And Vlogmas is going to be daily videos, hopefully, if I can keep up with it in all of the madness of the lead up to Christmas, sharing our wintry, festive, Christmassy days, all the fun bits and all the boring bits as well, I'm sure. We've got a few Christmassy things planned. We're definitely going to a panto. We're definitely going to go into London to see the Christmas lights, although you would have seen a little bit of that in yesterday's video. And as you can hear, I am completely stuffed full of cold. I was quite unwell last week, but only for about 24 hours, and I thought I'd kicked it. And in the last few days, it's come back to, with a vengeance. So I'm really full of cold. So apologies for the slightly snottiness. Hopefully it won't interrupt the nice, cosy, wintry feels that these videos will hopefully inspire. So I have got a few yarn advents and a tea advent and a few other things to share with you, so I'll do that in a minute. I've got one yarn advent that hasn't arrived. It's currently caught up in customs and the postal strike. The postal workers are on strike today and they were on strike yesterday, and I think my parcel got held up in customs the day before, so that's going to delay it, but that's fine. If it's going to be late, that just means I can binge open it, doesn't it? And we all like a bit of binge opening of advents, so that's good. So I'm going to get those set up in a minute and I'll show you. But I wanted to talk about a couple of books as well. So I am currently reading quite a short book and I'm really enjoying it. It's The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. You may have heard of it because, well, A, it's quite an old book. I believe it was written in the 1930s? 1950s, first published in 1957. And I'm really enjoying it. It's only about 200 pages long, and I think also it was made into a Netflix series. So once I've read the book, I'm going to look that up. So I'm reading this. I'm actually going to treat myself today. After lunch, I'm going to treat myself to a very luxurious middle of the day hour. I'm going to put the timer on and allow everything else to fall by the wayside that needs doing and read my book for an hour, see how far I can get. So I'm currently on page 67, so I'll report back later to let you know how I did. And I want to get this finished because I want to move on to Murder on a Winter's Night. I bought this on a whim. It's a collection of short stories. There's a few books in this series, and it's 10 classic crime stories where you're more likely to come across a corpse under the Christmas tree than a present. And I thought this just seemed like quite a fun thing to read. I've really got into sort of the cosy murder, for want of a better description. I've really enjoyed the Thursday Murder Club recently, and also Daisy Darker. So I thought this would be really lovely to read as something a bit different. Every year I also read one of my most favourite books of all time, which is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I will show you my various versions of that book as Vlogmas goes on. But at the moment I'm actually listening to it on Audible in a completely different way. Let me go and get my phone and I'll show you which version I'm listening to, because it's free if you're an Audible member, so it's free in the Plus catalogue, and I'm loving it. The person that reads it is so good. But I'll get my phone so I can tell you. It's quite a short listen as well, because the book itself is quite a short book. So I've only got about an hour and a half left of this. It's A Christmas Carol Unabridged, read by Simon... Oh, goodness me. I can't read that. I'll have to go into... Well, I'll show you the picture, then I'll go and check. So that's the version I'm listening to. Like I say, it's free in the Plus catalogue. There's a few different versions, including one with kind of a cast of different actors as well. But this one is just read by one narrator, and because I can't read it in that picture, Simon Prebble. It's just over 3 hours long and he's got a brilliant voice. He really brings the story to life. I've read the book so many times, but in his reading of it and listening to it rather than reading it myself, there's certain elements of it that have really been brought to life that feel like brand new. So I really recommend that if you're in the mood for a little Christmassy tale to haunt your houses pleasantly, as the author says. Yeah, so that's, oh, that was a very loud yes, wasn't it? The girls have got advents as well, so you'll probably see a little bit of that. They've got the usual chocolate one, and they've both got makeup ones. Their nanny, which is Dan's mum, buys them an advent every year as their Christmas present, which is really lovely because it's kind of a present that they can then open throughout December, and it really, really lasts. And they send her a picture every day of what they got, so they've got that interaction with grandparents throughout December, so that's really lovely as well. We'll be sharing that. But right now I'm going to go get all of my advents ready and I'm going to open day one. I'm so excited. I cannot believe it's the 1st of December already. I've tried to film this so many times, I'm clearly out of practice. It's been a funny old video, this one. I feel like I've just sort of babbled on at you and then prepared for Vlogmas or prepared for opening Advents, but I suppose that's the nature of the first day of Vlogmas, isn't it? So it's about 6:30 now. I'm just waiting for Dan to bring Phoebe home. They've been out at football training. Thursday night is football training night for both of them, as in it's Phoebe's team, but Dan's the coach. So they'll be home soon. We are going to have the simplest of dinners. We are going to have soup. The girls are having tinned tomato soup, and Dan and I are going to have some sort of homemade soup from the freezer, which is both lovely and warm and comforting and perfect when you've got a cold, but also brilliant because it means I get some stuff out of the freezer because I want to make room for Christmas stuff. So that's what we're going to do tonight, and I'm looking forward to that, and everyone being home and lighting the Advent candle for the first time and putting my feet up in front of the telly in the warm with a hot milk and a biscuit or two. That sounds perfect to me. I managed my hour. I set my timer and I read for a full hour, and it was lovely. I read, so what page was I on? Page 67, I think, and I read to page 107, so 40 pages in an hour. Is that slow? Is that fast? It feels slow, 40 pages in an hour. I did keep getting interrupted by next door's cat. But yeah, it was really nice. So I feel like I'm ready to go to bed later and keep going with it. It's getting really interesting. Anything else to say? No, just I will see you tomorrow. I can't believe I'm already saying see you tomorrow. It's the 2nd of December tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow. Obviously still feeling pretty grotty. But we'll see what tomorrow brings. I've now said tomorrow about 100 times. So see you then.